Are you a fantasy football expert? Well, then it's time to prove it. If you think you've got what it takes, then sign up to Spitch and take me on this weekend for a chance to win a signed shirt by Jack Wilshere. Unlike other fantasy leagues, on Spitch, you can play individual match days and create your different 11 every week. It's not just goals and assists that count towards your score either. Every action, including a pass or tackle, records points in real time. Click the link to join our head-to-head league and take me on for a chance to win. Bring it on. AFTV, we're down here at Selhurst Park looking forward to the first game of the season. The season opener, Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. Now, we all remember what happened last year when we came down here. As I've been reminded about 10 times just walking around here, they smashed us to pieces, and deservedly so. They were really good on the day. And actually, even when they played us at the Emirates Stadium, we have to say we were a bit fortunate to even get a draw in that game. Crystal Palace are a very good side, managed by a very good manager in Patrick Vieira, and this is going to be a really tough game. But we're coming in with a lot of optimism. We were over in Florida. We saw a great performance also last weekend, another great performance in pre-season against Sevilla. And Arsenal come here, I feel, for the first time in a long time, ready for the first game of the season.
Yeah, and the reason I'm smiling is because I echo all that. Arsenal are, for the first time, 3 signings in the door. 2 of them have slotted in immediately. Pre-season's gone brilliantly in terms of the results, the performances, all that. Listen, we played Everton, Chelsea and Sevilla, in pre-season, so we've given ourselves some tests and we've come through them all with flying colours. We haven't conceded a goal against any of those 3 sides. And of course, we've had Orlando behind closed doors and all that, Nuremberg. So Arsenal come in looking really good. Palace's pre-season slightly different. I know they beat Montpellier 4-2 the other day. I was chatting to some Palace fans. They were saying that actually pre-season hasn't really gone swimmingly, what with some players not being able to do the tour.
Yeah, it's been a bit strange, isn't it? Because like when they had their tour over in the Far East, players like Zaha, a couple of their main players didn't actually travel. I think it's something to do with the COVID restrictions. Yeah. They didn't actually travel. So they literally had to split the 2 teams. They had like one team over there playing in the Far East. Didn't do too well again. They got beaten by Man United and then they had another team playing here in the UK, you know what I mean? So not ideal preparations, but like you said, they did beat Montpellier in their last pre-season. Yeah,
and apparently they looked electric as well. I saw some of the goals. And listen, they've got some really frightening players. This isn't the... I mean, with all due respect, he's one of them.
He's one of them. And apparently he's been doing really well in pre-season as well.
Listen, he's been showing for a while now what you can do in a Palace shirt. And I mean, with all due respect, I'm surprised that one of the traditional big 6, I know a lot of people don't like using that term, but I'm surprised that he's maybe not been playing European football. But the point is, he's been absolutely tearing it up at Palace, and I think he's going to cause us a lot of problems come Friday as well. And you were mirroring this game to obviously our last trip to Selhurst, mirror it as well to that opening day against Brentford last year, where again, away from home, Friday night, the cameras are on us, and
we capitulated in that.
We absolutely did, and I think also, listen, there are other things, Lacazette and Aubameyang getting ruled out on the day. There were other, we'll talk about that later in another video, but Arsenal have an opportunity to look at what happened a year ago and to look at what happened last time we were at Selhurst and make a point and say, listen, we have grown massively from what happened last season.
Yeah, well, I think the main thing is we're prepared for this game. I remember going to that game at Brentford last year and we weren't ready. We weren't prepared. Like you said, players out.
Pre-season was shocking.
Pre-season was awful last year. Remember, we lost to Chelsea. We lost to Tottenham. I don't know whose idea it was to play Tottenham in pre-season. We got beaten by them. That sent the morale down.
Trip to Scotland.
We went to Scotland. We were awful up there as well. It was just a poor pre-season. None of the new signings apart from Ben White were ready for the first game. And he didn't even look ready. He looked half-cooked. This time the difference has been, and I know everybody says don't get carried away about pre-season, but it's been a good pre-season like you just described there, where we've been scoring goals for fun, keeping clean sheets, and the team looks ready. Noticeably for me, the last couple of games, he sort of played what I feel is going to be his team come Friday night, and that is a very strong team. And there's certain key players in there that are looking very, very good. I mean, if we start in from the back, Saliba has come in and formed a great partnership with Gabriel.
Yeah.
And that's going to be very important when they're coming up against guys like, Zaha, Eze, etc.
That's a good point, yeah. And I think it's an Arsenal side that looks more equipped than the one that went out last year to deal with what Palace do best. They've got a lot of flair, they've got a lot of power, they've got a lot of pace, trickery, from
aggression.
Aggression from Eze to Zaha, to Schlupp, to Mateta, to all these players. Elise, if he's going to play, they've got Jordan Ayew as well. They've got players that can be very direct and cause you problems. What I like about what Arsenal have been doing in the last few games, starting with Ben White at right back, sometimes he can get beaten when he's spun by certain players, but then you've got Saliba covering, although White's got the recovery pace. Saliba and Gabriel, as you mentioned, have been forming a really good partnership, and Zinchenko, who's much more comfortable in the left back position, or at least the role he's got to play, than Tavares, who started last time and actually got subbed off at half time, I believe, for Xhaka. And then you've got Jesus, who is going to ask different questions, who's going to pull out wide, who's going to have a good, understanding of the rotation with Saka and Martinelli. So I think Arsenal go into this much more equipped than we did in the last one. But a big thing is also going to come down to the midfield. It's going to come down to that.
And on that midfield, I remember Thomas Partey playing here, coming off very early in the game.
Yeah.
This time, he's again had a good pre-season. He's been injury-free.
Yeah.
And again, has looked brilliant in pre-season, anchoring that midfield. The midfield of him, Xhaka and Odegaard has looked very, very good in pre-season.
Yeah, it has. It's looked really good. I like what Xhaka was doing in the Sevilla game, breaking beyond the lines, getting beyond the back four. I never thought I'd see Xhaka do that, but he really sort of thrived in that. I liked his it's not really his assist, but his cutback for Jesus' first goal. Again, running through the channels and creating those opportunities. But I think a lot of it is not just about looking at Arsenal's midfield, it's about looking at Palace's. They've not got Conor Gallagher, obviously he's going to try and make his point at Chelsea. And what you've got now is a slightly tweaked midfield where I'm sure Eze can slot into a 3, but he's more maybe a 10.
Yeah.
I've heard that Schlupp's been playing in midfield, and so it's a case of
brought in this new guy, Decore, in there as well.
Of course,
he's supposed to look decent.
So they're readdressing their balance a little bit. And if Arsenal could come in and go, no, well, we're familiar with what we're doing, and stamp their authority. We know that Zinchenko likes to come inside as well, create those overloads, create that ability to dominate in those central areas. And maybe that will favour Arsenal, because when we lost here 3-0, it wasn't just that they, hit us on the break or whatever. No, they absolutely were all over us. They were pressing us, they would dominate us. They did it at the Emirates as well. We couldn't match their energy and their tempo. And that's the one thing that has stood out for Arsenal fans in pre-season. It's the tempo we've been showing. It's the aggression. It's the way we've been taking the game to teams. So Arsenal need to kind of go punch for punch, fire for fire here with Palace. And hopefully we can take advantage of maybe their lack of preparation compared to ours. Yeah,
and it could be that we're catching Crystal Palace at the right time, because we know this is a very difficult place to come to. You know what I mean? They've got great fans there, always create a great atmosphere. It's a tight, compact ground, really old-fashioned football ground. And when you come here, you know about it. You know about, because you know the atmosphere is going to be on point. So we know first game of the season, the atmosphere is going to be there. But are their players going to be up to speed? Palace, it kind of seems to me like if you catch them a couple of months in, they're up to speed, they're ready. That maybe that we're catching them now, and they've kind of had, as I said, that pre-season where it hasn't been quite right, the preparation. That could be to our advantage.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what we've got to focus on. Listen, I'm going to put pressure on Arsenal now, because Arteta's, he's been backed. He spent a lot of money. He's got a lot of his players in now. That midfield, Odegaard, Partey, they're his signings. Saka, Martin gave new deals to. Jesus, his signing. Gabriel, Zinchenko, White, all his signings. This is Arteta's team now. We've had a really ideal, if better than ideal, preparation in pre-season. So I'm going to put the pressure on them now. It's time, I'm feeling good about the team, and I feel like I should feel good about the team.
Yep.
So, not like last year where I was quite apprehensive. We used to joke about it in Forever Arsenal, that I was always predicting draws when really Arsenal should be winning. The pressure's on them. I'm going to put the pressure on them now.
Yep, and who could be a key player in this game is obviously Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
I remember this game last year, despite getting completely overrun, we did have some chances at the start of the game. Now, Gabriel Jesus really has been on fire.
Yeah, he has.
Hat-trick in the last game. two before that. He's just been absolutely electric. If he can carry that form through here, I mean, you know, we really lacked that striker last year. I mean, none of our strikers even got into double figures.
Yeah.
Right? This is a guy that can become an instant hero at Arsenal. This is a guy that could cause a lot of problems here to this Crystal Palace defence.
Yeah, and it's not just about taking those chances. When Palace were all over us in the two games, in fairness, Aubameyang started one at the Emirates, but we didn't have an outlet. An outlet is someone who just can look after the ball, beat a couple of men and maybe win a foul, or can just give you some breathing space when you're under the cosh and you need to just get up the pitch a little bit. And Jesus definitely has all the ingredients to do that. I believe, you might remember better than me, because it was 2 a.m. in Thailand when I was watching that 3-0 defeat, but I believe it was Smith Rowe who started on the left in that game, and Martinelli was on the bench. So if we're going with Martinelli and Jesus over Smith Rowe and Lacazette, not to take from the other two, but you got more natural, direct pace, more natural kind of, I guess, counter-attacking options there. So if Palace are to make the kind of start they did in the other games against us, at least we got something that can say, listen, if you weather these first 10, 20 minutes, at least we're causing them problems the other way, and they might think to step back a little bit, what with the lack of preparation and it being the first game. So it's about us having enough weapons to just cause them different problems and ask them different questions depending on what Palace comes out. I'm thinking that, you know, Friday night, 8 p.m, they're going to be up for it. They're going to be taking the game to us. But if Arsenal could just, as I said, get through that first 10, get on the ball a little bit, and when they do press us, have something going the other way, they might start to think, okay, let's just step back a bit. Because remember, that Sevilla game, we're 4-0 up off 4 shots on target, 4 shots in total, and only 39% possession. We weren't all over Sevilla in terms of having the ball. We were just very, very good at being direct, and when we had the ball, being efficient with it. And I think we've got to do a similar thing to Palace.
Yeah, well, listen, looking forward to the game on Friday night. It's the season opener here against Crystal Palace. Your prediction?
As I said just a minute ago, I'm putting the pressure on them now. I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal. Any other time, Man City have come here in flying form and been stopped by Palace, because they are that kind of team and it's this kind of ground. But I'm putting the pressure on Arsenal now. I've got expectations and I've got hopes that I think they've got to get to. I'm going 2-0.
I'm putting the pressure on Arsenal as well. I'm going to go 3-1.
Okay.
I think we've been electric in pre-season. I think the team looks fitter than I've ever seen an Arsenal team going into the start of the season before. Really, really fit. I mean, I saw the way they were pressing and running in 100-degree heat over there in Orlando. And, you know, basically, I feel that we are ready for this first game. Now, we're coming up against a great side. I really do admire what they've done down there at Selhurst Park.
I like them a lot.
But, like you said, the pressure is on Arsenal now to convert that pre-season into a result. And really and truly, if we could come here and get a result, it really, really does set us in good stead for the start of the season. They're very winnable games in the month of August for Arsenal. So I'm going to go Arsenal 3-1. There'll be jitters, but I don't know. I think if we can get into the flow of this game, I think Arsenal's going to be a team that's going to surprise a few this season, especially if we can keep key players injury-free. So 3-1 to Arsenal. What do you guys think? We'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to check out all of our great stuff that we're doing around the Crystal Palace game, including Box to Box. The Box to Box is brilliant, right? So make sure you check that one out. But yeah, looking forward to the game. Arsenal here at Selhurst Park, taking on Crystal Palace. The season that you've got to open it with Arsenal, innit? You've got to open it with us. We're going to give you drama. You know that, right? So make sure you check it out here on AFTV. Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.